Hello there, good evening, welcome to Look North. Our top story tonight. A West Yorkshire woman says police need to take the concerns of victims of stalking more seriously as a conference takes place in Leeds.
It got to the stage where I didn't leave my house at all. I had someone else come and take the kids to school and pick them up.
We speak to the Deputy Mayor for Policing and Crime in the region. Also tonight, a court hears how a murderer was categorised as high risk the day before he went on to kill his pregnant girlfriend and 3 children as the inquest into their deaths continues. And the hardship of war, the Ukrainian family separated once again after a tough decision to return home.
And it's the hottest of hottest tickets. These people have travelled from all over the country for a chance to get right up close to Doncaster's very own Youngblood, playing tonight a surprise gig at the Norton Coronation Club. Joining me later.
And it's been a decent day. I hope you've enjoyed it. This was Whitby Beach earlier this afternoon, but there are big changes on the way. Join me for the detailed forecast.
Hello, good evening. It's Wednesday, the 18th of October. Thank you for your company. A woman from West Yorkshire who was stalked and sexually assaulted by her former partner says more needs to be done by the police to support the victims of stalking. Jane, not her real name, was speaking at a conference in the county a year after a service was launched to offer guidance to high-risk victims of domestic stalking. Now, according to the most recent crime figures, there have been almost 7,500 alleged incidents of stalking in West Yorkshire in the past year alone. So what is the picture elsewhere in our region? Well, in South Yorkshire, there were nearly 4,000 alleged incidents in the same period. North Yorkshire, the figure is much lower, just over 1,100. But reports don't necessarily result in convictions. In the previous year, only 6% of reports in England and Wales led to charges. Our reporter Heidi Tomlinson has our top story.
Oh, please help me. I know. How old's Sally? She's only 23. I mean, this was coming. I'd acted an absolute psychopath.
The distress 999 call from a flatmate who arrived home to find her friend brutally murdered.
Alice! Alice! Oh my God, she's dead!
Alice Ruggles was killed by a controlling ex-boyfriend who wouldn't take no for an answer.
Ever since it happened, of course, we've been asking ourselves these questions.
Alice's devastated father, Clive Ruggles, wants to raise awareness of stalking. He spoke at a victim support conference in Leeds today.
He stalked her relentlessly for 2 months, wouldn't leave her alone, and on social media, on her phone, so on.
Stalking is illegal. Perpetrators hound their victims with messages, even if ignored. They turn up uninvited, follow people home, and hang around places they know their victims visit. In West Yorkshire last year, there was a 200% increase in stalking referrals to victim support. It's obsessive behaviour, which becomes intrusive and aggressive, unwanted attention from a friend, a stranger, or more often, an ex-partner. Jane, who doesn't want to be identified, was sexually assaulted by a man she was dating. The attack resulted in her becoming pregnant. She reported the incident to the police, but he wasn't charged because of insufficient evidence. After the assault, he began parking outside her house, sending flowers and messages.
It got to the stage where I didn't leave my house at all. I had someone else come and take the kids to school and pick them up. I went from being what I thought was an incredibly strong human being to somebody who was afraid of my own shadow. I wasn't just having the doors and the windows locked or the curtains closed, it was checking them all the time.
Jane lost faith in the police. She felt powerless.
And nobody ever linked the things together. So no one ever said, OK, he's done this crime, we're investigating this crime. We've got all this intimidation reported and this stalking reported. It was never ever classified as stalking in my case.
Specialist victim support workers in West Yorkshire helped Jane recover from the trauma. The team was established a year ago.
It's a small team, but they're all experts in stalking. They've all been trained in stalking, so they understand the subject area and they can help them work through next steps.
Moving on, the Ruggles family hope Alice's horrific story may save lives in the future.
You can't begin to imagine how we as a family have been affected by what happened to Alice. It leads to PTSD, it has horrible effects, and of course everyone around those people is aware of those and gets affected too.
Heidi Tomlinson, BBC Look North.
Alison Lowe is the Deputy Mayor for Policing and Crime in West Yorkshire. I asked her why it was so hard to prosecute those who carry out stalking crimes.
So many reasons. First and foremost, I think victims drop out of the system. It takes so long. There's up to a 4-year waiting list for some serious crimes now in the court system. I think the support is not there for victims of crime in the way that we want it to be. I think that sometimes the police don't get it right. They don't do the right investigations, they don't get the information that CPS need. CPS, their threshold is very high and they won't allow things to go into the system. Lots of reasons.
People aren't getting charged for this crime. Yeah. Do you think police are taking it seriously enough? We're hearing of women who are losing their lives because of this.
Yeah. So I am confident that West Yorkshire Police has understood the scale of the problem. Last year, they set up a stalking coordination unit in response to challenge from the Mayor and myself around this arena. We spoke to lots and lots of victims. There was a call for evidence from victims of all serious crimes, and stalking appeared to be the one area that West Yorkshire Police were really falling down. They responded by setting up this stalking coordination unit that brings best practice nationally together. It trains West Yorkshire Police officers about what to look for, and it brings a different dimension to the crime of stalking.
How confident are you that if someone is being stalked in West Yorkshire today that they will be taken seriously?
Well, obviously, you're only as strong as your weakest link is my favourite mantra. So I can't guarantee that you'll speak to someone who's had the training, who's got that level of understanding, but I'm pretty confident that the vast majority of police officers and staff now in West Yorkshire Police have got a much better understanding of what stalking is,
so
and will give the right support.
So that you will be confident that it will be taken seriously?
I need to hear from victims that that is the case. In West Yorkshire, satisfaction with policing from victims is 71%. In stalking, it's nearly 79%. So already we're seeing an improved experience for stalking victims. When it's 100%, we'll have got it right.
Alison Lowe, thank you.
Thank you.
Next night, the head of the probation service has said a murderer was more dangerous than first thought. Damien Bendel is serving life in prison for the murders in Killamarsh in September 2021 of a family and an 11-year-old girl. Chesterfield Coroner's Court has today heard how he was categorised as low risk by the probation service, despite an NHS service saying he was high risk a day before he went on to kill. Ollie Constable has this report.
Damien Bendel was said to be low risk following an unrelated arson attack weeks before he would go on to kill his partner Terry Harris, her children John and Lacey Bennett, and Lacey's friend Connie Gent. As part of his suspended sentence, he was managed by a probation officer that in court today was described by the coroner as inexperienced. Kim Thornton-Edwards, who is a recent head of the probation service, said a critical and fundamental error was the wrong classification of risk, built on the basis of a lack of information on forms filled out by the service. She said it was not appropriate that such a junior member of staff would manage a criminal who had a history of violence like Bendel. She added there were opportunities to revisit the assessment of Bendel, making sure there was an accurate picture of him, but unfortunately that did not happen. Giving evidence this morning, we heard from Becky Pashley, who worked with Bendel as part of an organisation that monitored how much he drank. This was part of his court order. It was found there were inconsistencies in what Bendel told his probation officer and what he told Ms Pashley, and how he had missed up to 6 appointments leading up to the killings. The coroner was told when an assessment did take place a day before the murders, he was categorised by Ms Pashley as posing a high risk to the public. The coroner is due to hear more evidence tomorrow, with a verdict expected next week. Ollie Constable, BBC Look North, Chesterfield.
You're watching Wednesday's Look North, still to come on tonight's programme. We meet the Bradford woman who's been given a national award by a Corrie Star for her community work. Hundreds of people who are angry about cuts to public services have joined a protest outside a council meeting in Huddersfield. The rally's been organised by Unison members who want to protect children's services in Kirklees. Community groups have also joined the protest to call on the authority to save leisure centres and care homes. The council needs to make savings of £47 million to balance its budget. Nicola Rees is in Huddersfield for us tonight. Nicola, it's all yours.
Well, this was a usual meeting of the full council. It takes place every month at Huddersfield Town Hall, but a bit of a difference tonight as 200 protesters gathered outside and only one thing on the agenda as far as they're concerned, and that of course is the sweeping cuts that are taking place right across Kirklees. Back in September, we heard from the council that they had to make these savings, as you mentioned, of £47 million to avoid bankruptcy by the end of next year. That, of course, means job cuts, it means cuts to services, and so far we've had announcements about potential closures of leisure centres and of care homes too. So a lot of worry about that here tonight, and also new worries about the effects on job cuts to children's services, social care. So let's hear from some of the people who were here this evening.
I just can't believe morally they think this is an acceptable approach to take advantage of vulnerable people, people who can't fight for themselves, who haven't got a voice, and that's what we're all here for today, to share their voice and be heard. I think we're all feeling a bit silenced by the council, we're not getting anywhere, and this is all that we can do.
I was in the march for Batley Baths and we fought for that and they shut it down. He started at Dewsbury Baths as well. That's shut down. Now Batley Sports Centre, well, what are we going to be left with?
I think it just feels like they're trying to strip the community of everything, really, and leaving us with nothing. And it feels like, especially because we live in Batley, so the closest ones to us, they're the ones they're planning to close. So what do they expect us to go to?
We're seeing a piecemeal approach where we only know where roughly the first 120 jobs are going to go, so it's anybody's guess what's coming down the line. But members who work in these children's services are really fearful. Of course, they're fearful for their own jobs, but they're fearful for the future of the children that they support.
Absolutely infuriated. We've got 300 kids who play and train up at Howden Clough team. Batley Sports Centre is essential to that. We will literally fight to the end to stop them from closing it. We love the centre, we love the site and we love the community. We don't need plant pots, we don't need investment in pigeon lofts. What we need are core facilities for the community.
Well, Kirklees Council, of course, they say they've already cut all non-essential spending. They've already put a freeze on recruitment. We did ask to speak to them this evening. They weren't able to talk to us, but they did issue a statement. They say we're committed to doing all we can to minimise the impact of service changes on staff and residents. They go on to say it's our intention that children's social care will be protected from budget reductions as far as possible. So no promises there, everything's still on the table, and in the meantime the campaign against these cuts in Kirklees continues to grow.
Nicola, thank you. Certainly a big turnout in Huddersfield this evening. Meanwhile, senior councillors in Leeds have been discussing the financial challenges that they face. Over the next 4 years, there's a budget deficit of more than £160 million. 750 jobs are at risk at the authority, and there are also plans to sell off some council buildings. With a current funding gap of £29.6 million to the end of this financial year, councillors face difficult decisions.
When we look at services right across the council, there are things we do at the moment in the future may not happen at all. There are some services that might be open 5-6 days a week and they're open less days a week. There'll be buildings, starting with the Civic Hall, for every other building the council owns. Can we have lots more services in individual buildings, and can we sell off buildings?
The concern is, are they really seriously going to look at areas of non-essential spend? Are they going to focus on protecting frontline services? We've offered to work with them, and actually I really strongly urge them in the meeting to use councillors across party, across the city, who are really well placed to help deliver better services for less money.
Now, it's more than 18 months since the war in Ukraine started, and since then it's estimated 180,000 refugees from the country have arrived in the UK on one of the Ukraine visa schemes. The latest government figures suggest that about 66,000 have since left, either temporarily or on a permanent basis. But why, when the war is far from over? It's a really hard decision facing so many families in our region. Olivia Richwald reports.
Anna and Yara, refugees from the Ukrainian capital Kyiv, now living in York. The war tore their family apart, and now just one of them is heading home.
Yes, it was a hard decision, but without work, full-term work, with good salary, we can't pay for house, and I very want to come back. I don't saw my husband near 2 years.
Anna is returning to a city that endures regular air raid sirens. Kyiv's population has almost returned to pre-war levels, and there are shelters like this to protect people. But Yara's parents think it's still too dangerous for her to return.
For me, it's very important to know that she will be in secure place, and it's no rockets, no bomb shelling.
How do you feel about your mum going over there? Do you think you'll be okay?
Not really. I'm really gonna miss her.
But I will come back, I think, I hope each month or once per 2 months.
Yara will be cared for by her grandmother, who will soon move to York.
Her grandmother is much more better cooker than me.
Excuse me, I'm still gonna miss you.
And much more pluses to stay with her than with me, because she is not working woman.
Excuse me, I'm gonna still miss you.
At home in Ukraine, Anna was a journalist and a writer. This is the historical documentary she was working on just before the war started. She has unfinished films waiting back home, including one with this violinist who has since died fighting for his country.
So this is not only about history, now it's about people, it's about all of us, and I very want to finish it, and I hope that I can find time, financial resources for finish it.
Anna leaves for Ukraine next month, and the family hope it won't be too long before all of them can be reunited once again. Olivia Richwald, BBC Look North, York.
Gosh, that's going to be a difficult goodbye, isn't it? Let's take a quick look at last night's football now. Not England, I'm talking about North Yorkshire. 3 teams from the region won their FA Cup replays to qualify for the first round proper, while York were winning at Needham. Here are Whitby Town on the way to a 3-1 victory over Chelmsford. And Scarborough Athletic are celebrating too. They beat Oxford City by 3-2 and will host Forest Green in the first round. Now, you may remember the Rockwell Centre in Bradford. It's somewhere that we've visited before. Well, now the woman who's the force behind it has been given a National Lottery Award. Katie Marnes set up a Blooming Buds Theatre at the centre in Thorpe Edge, but over the years the centre's expanded to include lots of other services. She does some great work. Coronation Street actress Jane Danson presented the award to her this morning, and Abigiola was there too.
And I'm here today to present the wonderful Katie with this amazing award from the National Lottery.
Coronation Street star Jane Danson took a break from the cobbles to surprise Katie Marnes with an award to recognise her work as founder of the Blooming Buds Theatre Company in Thorpe Edge, Bradford.
I just really care about my area, the people here, and I was really passionate about going to university, and theatre and drama have always been a massive passion of mine, and I never dreamed I'd end up running my own theatre company, but going to learn the skills of how to sort of help people and infuse it with theatre, it's just, what drives me.
Somebody to lean on, just call on me, brother.
Katie created singing and drama groups here at the Rockwell Centre for people who might not otherwise have had access to them.
She's still really, really young and she's achieved all these amazing things. And I just thought it was really inspiring. But particularly from the arts point of view, she's given maybe people who wouldn't have had that opportunity, an opportunity to express themselves and just building their confidence and develop as people and meet people socially.
Katie's work goes beyond the artistic. Today there's a parent and toddler Halloween session With a team of staff and volunteers, she's organised hundreds of food parcels, puts on community lunches and supports local people with mental health and financial problems.
It's friendly for people to come in, offload about any issues they may have. We try to help with that as much as possible, and if we can't help, then we signpost them to other services and then also get them involved in something completely new, some theatre, it might be a poetry workshop or a bit of spoken word or acting in one of our performances.
Her efforts are very much appreciated by the people who live here.
Absolutely fantastic. She deserved it. She really did deserve it. She does a lot.
And it's just important because Thorpe Edge wasn't nothing like this before, and now it has. It's amazing to see just how much that is being done to support families and to support, you know, the various activities and groups that go on here. So I think it's great. I think she does a great job.
You're a really special person, and what you're doing is amazing.
The trophy comes with a cheque for £5,000, which will support Katie's continuing quest to help her community. Abby Jaola, BBC Look North, Bradford.
Ah, great job, Katie. Now, the Doncaster singer Youngblood is about to play a free gig in his home city tonight. Earlier today, he took part in BBC Radio 1's Live Lounge, playing his new single, Happier. In a moment, we'll speak to Tom Ingle, who's with Youngblood fans queuing for the first come, first served concert at Norton Coronation Club. But first, let's take a quick look at his Live Lounge performance, the first ever to come from a South Yorkshire town or city.
What's happening? It's Youngblood. Welcome to Doncaster. We're live from 12. I can't wait for you to hear me cover.
When it was me and you, every time I meet somebody new, it's like deja vu.
Let's cross now to Norton, and superfan Tom Ingle is there. Tom, it's all yours.
Thank you, Amy. You'll always find me in the kitchen at parties, and likewise you'll always find me standing outside the club where the hot gig is taking place. Now, naturally, when the news desk heard there was a superstar music celebrity in Donny tonight, they reached for their trendiest reporter. Sadly, Phil Bodmer's on a day off and Ian White isn't taking our phone calls anymore, so here we are. Now, I am afraid I've never really encountered the musical oeuvre of the popular beat combo known as Youngblood until today. I don't have the coloured streaks in my hair, so I did want to talk to the fans queuing from the very early hours as to why they wanted to meet him. Here's what they said.
He used to just be our little secret, but now he's grown so much, it's like such a shock that he's doing such a small 100 people gig, and it's just I just don't want to miss the opportunity.
I love him and I love his music. I love what he stands for. I love the political views that he's got, and I love that he's always got a message in his music and in his shows.
He just makes you happy, and his songs make you feel stuff that other people don't, and he's there for you through his songs.
Now, I've heard there's someone here from Aberdeen tonight. There's certainly someone from Telford, someone from Derby. They have travelled all over to meet Dominic Harrison. That's his full name. His stage name is Youngblood. I have to say, what a class act. He arrived about 6 o'clock. Didn't just take a deep beeline into the Norton Coronation Club, which he's been playing apparently since he was 13. He spent a lot of time walking with his fans, particularly the ones who couldn't get tickets to get in, to meet them, take selfies, have their autographs done. You don't get that at your average S-Club concert. It was really, really nicely done. And he even condescended to take a question or two from your average Look North reporter. So I wanted to know, why is this such a special gig for him?
I just think I was here doing Live Lounge, and I was just I played this Coronation Club since I was 13, and this is what you dream of, man. You know what I mean? Someone said to me yesterday, came up to me yesterday, I haven't seen this much excitement in Norton since Easter Bonnet Race in 1972.
So you're better than the Easter Bonnet Race?
I think so. But everyone's it's all about community, it's all about the vibe. I love it. This one's for the North, you know what I mean?
So, as I said, these are the lucky people of the 250 in the club going in tonight. These are some of the unlucky people who didn't have tickets. However, you're still queuing up, aren't you? Why are you queuing up?
Because we want to see him.
You missed him. He was here earlier. Did you see him then?
Yeah.
Oh, you want to stay on and see him again, do you? Yeah. Why does he mean that much to you?
It's amazing.
It's just amazing. It's absolutely fantastic. When we spoke earlier, who else comes out and meets the fans that aren't actually going to be able to go in and see the concert?
I tell you who else comes out, people from Look North. That's what we do. I haven't got the coloured tips in my hair, but I am turning grey, Amy. I don't know if that counts.
I think it surely does. And he could be a Youngblood fan at any age. Class acts, though. Great to see him come in back to Doncaster, back to his roots. Paul is here now with the forecast. Youngblood fan, are we?
Oh, sorry, I thought you were doing a thing about a dolphin in the North Sea.
We ain't got time.
Oh, what a shame. Maybe we'll do it tomorrow.
We could cut your weather forecast, but I know you're a diva and you don't like that.
But I was just going to say that dolphin's got something coming because there's a warning for coastal gales, but we'll just have a look at what's been a beautiful last hurrah of autumn because the colours are beautiful on these sycamores in Sheffield. John sent that in. And the canal in Wakefield, that's the Calder and Hebble navigation, I believe, and there was sunshine there. So I hope you enjoyed it because we've got some rotten weather to come over the next few days. Addresses on your screen if you want to get your picture on the telly. So we start actually with a couple of warnings. These are for Thursday night into Friday, into early Saturday morning. It's heavy rain, generally speaking, gales, particularly in coastal areas, some really unpleasant weather on the way. Just watch how tightly packed the isobars are, how the rain just gathers in the North Sea and is driven inland. We really have to wait until Sunday before we see a reasonable gap. I think the rain will ease off during Saturday, but Sunday does look drier and brighter. So we're looking down to the south where we've got some heavy rain coming through the home counties now. These are just spots of rain, but that main body of rain is marching northwards as we speak. So I think certainly by the end of the evening, by midnight, we'll see that heavy and persistent rain driven on by a strong east to southeasterly wind. But the back edge does come through us sort of by the end of the night, but we're left with a legacy of cloud and a bit of rain and drizzle in places. Quite a mild night compared with recent nights. We're looking at temperatures around 11 or 12 degrees Celsius. So tomorrow's high water times in Scarborough at 7:28, Bridlington at 7:37. So tomorrow we'll get off to a cloudy start, a little bit of overnight drizzle to clear away northwards. Then skies do brighten for a time, a little bit of autumnal sunshine, but as temperatures rise, a lot of instability. We'll see showers and potentially local thunderstorms breaking out, especially later in the day, and that could merge to give a longer spell of rain. But there will be that drier and brighter interlude. That will lift temperatures to a very respectable 18 Celsius, that's 64 Fahrenheit. That strong wind we've had this afternoon will slowly ease down temporarily. Then on to Friday. It's a cold, wet and windy day with heavy and persistent rain. Some big totals coming across the Pennines and the North York Moors. Saturday looks cloudy and cool. Patchy rain and drizzle slowly fizzling out. And then a little bit of a drier, brighter interlude as we head through Sunday into Monday. That is the forecast, Amy.
You've disappointed everyone now, talking about dolphins that we're not actually seeing. But we will show them on the late news tonight. So tune in for 10:30. It's well worth it. Good night.